Hello, today is my persuasive speech. I apologize in advance. I'm fighting an illness. I will try to be as clear as possible. Here are my two audience members. It is 5 times more expensive to eat from a restaurant and 3 times more expensive using a meal kit service than it is to cook at home. We've all stood in that kitchen contemplating dinner, deciding what to feed our families that night. How do we choose? Not knowing how to cook will likely take away some options. What is left if we don't know how to cook? We can find something pre-made from the grocery store, frozen foods, the convenience meals, using a food service, ordering from a restaurant, going through the drive-through. Being a wife and a mother of 15 years, I've learned how to cook and meal plan what on sometimes could be a very tight budget. My husband and I have seen the difference between buying ingredients and putting together a meal over buying pre-made freezer food, buying the pre-made foods in the deli, or eating out. Schools should teach cooking once again for a healthier public and a more food secure country. If schools provided cooking skills, once again, this potentially could afford an overall healthier community. This could help people struggling with food insecurity, and it can also support mental wellness to not worry about where your foods will come from. 242 million people are food insecure in America. That means they don't always know where their next meal is coming from, or if they have the means to even afford food. Many people spend an exorbitant amount of money on pre-made foods or freezer foods or fast foods if they don't know how to cook or they don't know how to meal plan. Only 20% of people say they cook at home regularly, a significant amount citing that they lack cooking skills as the reason for not cooking at home. If someone doesn't know how to cook, then they have to look for other options. This could be pre-made frozen foods, using a food service, or ordering from a restaurant. These options are all more expensive than purchasing the ingredients and putting together a meal. According to the 2021 website for National Center for Biotechnology Information's, meals eaten away from home have also been linked to obesity and weight gain. In these hard times, food is much more expensive than ever, even with families utilizing help such as CalFresh. If cooking skills and meal budgeting are lacking, these resources are not stretched for the month, resulting in possibly not having enough to eat for the month. According to the USDA Economic Research website in 2016, 41.2 million people lived in food secure households, reiterating that from before. So we've seen how costly and unhealthy it is to not have cooking skills, and it's crucial to explore how cooking in schools could help this. With food costs more expensive than ever, it is essential to make every dollar stretch to max efficiency. Knowing how to cook a nutritious meal successfully is not only money saving, but it's much healthier. If children are taught how to cook and buy food to fit their particular budget when they're still young, these are life skills that have several benefits financially and to their health. It has been proven that young children are more likely to eat a meal that they have prepared themselves. It costs significantly more to purchase a meal prepared by a restaurant or buying pre-made meals from the grocery store. Even families that receive assistance, such as the CalFresh, often cite not having enough food to make it through the month. The CalFresh is calculated by using how much it will cost to feed the members of that particular family when using meal prepping and budgeting and cooking for the month. The families that don't know how to cook, they wind up buying the freezer foods, the cold deli foods, which are more costly, and then they use all their funds for the month. If they knew how to cook, this would largely be alleviated. When I worked with United Way, I got to we tested this theory, and we were each given a budget on our family, and we were able to see if you could make it stretch by utilizing meal plans, and we were able to make it stretch, but we knew how to cook. Those skills were given to us, and this was part of an initiative to try to advocate for cooking classes, or teaching people how to budget. So we've seen it. It's been put to a test. Knowing how to cook can really make a big deal. At over $20 per serving on average, a restaurant delivered meal is almost 3 times as expensive as a meal kit, and 5 times more expensive than cooking a meal from scratch. It can eating out can also affect our mental state, according to the 2019 Slice of Kitchen website. According to a 2012 study done, people who consume fast food and commercial baked goods have a 51% higher chance of developing depression. There's a lot of extra additives in these foods that aren't very good for us. The American Heart Association journal Circulation found that people who consume fast food even once a week increase their risk of dying from coronary heart disease by 20% in comparison to people who avoid fast food. For people eating fast food 2 to 3 times each week, this increases 50%, and the risk climbs to nearly 80% for people who consume fast food 4 or more times a week. I've talked about how costly it can be to not have cooking and meal planning skills. Well, what can we do about this for the future? Well, adding a cooking class to our public and private school curriculum could positively change and shape our future. That would advocate for healthier people, and potentially helping families that are food insecure by teaching people how to cook meals that will cost less and go further. Think about what a difference it would make for people not to worry about where their next meal is coming from. Obesity is on the rise, and teaching children and teens about nutrition and meal planning will create an overall healthier society. Americans lack of food cooking skills cause unhealthier diets, result in purchasing more expensive pre-made meals, whether at a grocery store, food service, or restaurant. If schools taught cooking and meal planning, once again, fewer people would rely on unhealthy frozen foods. They would utilize their money more efficiently and eat healthier. Americans' lack of cooking skills cause unhealthier diets and result in purchasing more expensive pre-made foods, whether at the grocery store, food service, or restaurant. An easy first step that anyone could implement right away would be to find a beginner's cookbook, or the Google. You can definitely Google easy to do meals. There's tutorials on how to meal plan on a budget. There's lots of free resources available, and most importantly, convincing schools to add cooking to the curriculum, while much more involved, would be a critical step. Thank you so much.